Yo, what is up, everyone?
Ready for battle.
It's your boy Dihan. Today we are looking at some VOD reviews. Looks like we have quite a bit, so we're gonna be looking at as many as we can, and going from there. Hopefully they all go well.
Stay in sight, and I'll keep you safe.
This first person is actually was a part of the Discord and then actually left. So we're gonna see. We're gonna just review this to give them the courtesy that we can,
Understood.
and hopefully I'll be able to send them the link to this and they'll be able to review it.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, so already what I kind of don't like about what we're doing right here is we are very big on trying to heal. When us as Kiriko, with no one taking any damage, you're actually probably able to set up. A lot of people like setting up here because you have this huge slit that can go all the way and actually hit people rounding this corner here. It's a really good way, and no one on attack is going to be able to see that spot instantly without getting domed twice. So if I were you, I'd probably just stand here and apply some pressure to start, and then once people start taking damage, we can go elsewhere. But you really don't need to start healing immediately. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this seems like there's some damage. That's good. Cool. Oh. I might not be a fan of our positioning in this fight. I feel like we had wall climb, so we probably could have been playing up here at least, just to give yourself a little bit more high ground, or even when you're playing back here, be a little bit aggressive, knowing that even here you're going to be safer than necessarily back into this area. It just is a big kind of small area for you to kind of get around, and you have no escape options really. Okay, looks like this is good though. Nice. Good hold. Yeah, here again, you're like going for heals on your team. I'd rather you try and throw more kunai since you have a full health team. You really don't need to be throwing a Fuda. Yeah, and again, like, you decided to go into this small area, which makes it super easy for Ashe to hit everyone with the dynamite. I'd rather when you rotate back here, you climb up to this high ground, or you climb up here, just to give yourself more variability with where you can go. Because even if you're up here, you can swift step, and if you're up here, you can eventually drop back down if you need to. But it gives you better rotations rather than just everyone crowding into this corner here where you can't really see much. There we go. Good team kill. Good wall climb up to high ground. Good positioning. Probably still wouldn't be healing my team. I'd be looking for attacks. This is really good. I like this. Good spam.
Soothing your wounds. Hey, big guy. Carried on the wind. Well met. Understood. Do something. Now we're talking. Come here. I can heal you. I gotta tell Bob all about it. The Kitsune is ready.
We're definitely wasting a lot of these protection Suzus. I feel like we've just missed with a lot of them. Maybe just take a little bit more time to actually aim your throw. Nice.
I'm with you. You take a lot of damage, huh? Security could use some work. 10 seconds. The time is short. Hold strong. Come to me for heals. Got this for second. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. When he shield, heat, and backs up in Kitsune, it makes you sad. I think this is a win, chat. I'm gonna be honest. Everyone knows hard wins are not necessarily the way to show it. Losses are better. Yeah, I mean, tapping between heals and damage is really not what you want to do. If they're full health, just keep it on healing, and if they're low, you know, swap it to heals. If they're full health, keep it on damage, and if they're low, swap to heals. Because, like, just going back and forth like this, it just, it doesn't really apply much of anything, really. Like, you're probably spending more time alternating these beam lengths than actually thinking about, like, positioning and whatnot. And, not to mention, like, all it would do is hinder the amount of healing that you have over time. Okay. 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 Yeah, I mean, their team literally gave up here, so GG's. Setting wins usually isn't great at you know, seeing what you can focus on in VOD reviews. If I had to guess, it seems like we are focused way too much on healing, and I'm not really sure what the whole healing damage alternating on Mercy is. It's really just not something that's quite efficient in either of the ways of damage boosting or healing. So primarily just stick to one on the dude. Try not to alternate all that much. Because like I said, it's really just not really providing any such value. Anyways, so next we're gonna look at looks like main stake. This is bronze. Hard carried this game, but I think it could have done better as to position and when to dive rather than soft dive. This is a game where my tank left and I got hard countered. This is just mainly get more tips on how I can do better positioning wise or what heroes I could possibly play. I do have more, but this is one I think I could have done way better on. This is on Venture. So we're going to see how the Venture hard carried today, I guess. Okay, 5v5. Looks like a tank. Their tank does leave them. They're playing main stake. We're playing in a bunch of Asian servers, so I have not seen before, but I guess we are on the Asian servers, so we'll see how this goes. I guess you can kind of tell. Don't remember this Venture skin for sure. Okay, yeah, so basically, if you're going to be playing someone that's more diveable, why are we going off of the top viewpoint where we clearly are going to be seen by people and we have no idea on how to shoot them? Because Venture literally cannot contest from this range. This is quite literally the definition of bringing a drill to a gunfight. Because as we can see, we went up the top ropes and immediately got our head blown off because we literally have no ability to contest the enemy. So if you're going to play someone that is a flanker, much like Venture, I recommend going out more of the side doors or the main entrance because you just will not be able to contest anyone that is playing a long distance from that range. Okay. Now here it looks like this choke was very much open. You probably could have just walked straight through if you wanted to. Looks like we're going to go the flank route, which is fine, but I would really only use the flank route if it seems like this choke is held up. Looks pretty open to me, like you can walk through, so I would just take the space that the tank's making and walk through it. And the reason is, by the time you actually decide to make this flank, you just lost 3 of your teammates. And now you decide to go in, but because you don't have any teammates, it's going to be very challenging for you to really do almost anything here. Yeah, so we got picked. This is a stagger. Once you die early or late for this reason, it's going to make it difficult for you to group up with your team. So now because you're dead, your team is now all pushing in without you, and now they're all going to die. And them dying will cause you to push in because you want to do something. And then you're going to die here. And if you do this, if you die here, then you'll have to wait again for your team to group up, but they'll probably push in without you and they'll die, and so on and so forth, until the entire 4 minutes of attack is over. So yeah, we just got picked again. Yeah, here's just where you kind of group up with your team and just hold out. This is where your tank gives up. Yeah, so I'd say probably a big thing on Venture is rather than like just try to move straight forward, again, you're a flanker. So once you realize that going through this choke is tougher, especially because you don't have a tank, this is when you actually start going through the flank route and start actually pressuring the Widow. And if the entire team rotates to you, you try and get out to buy as much time as possible for them to chase you so that your other team can kind of do stuff. We're kind of just going in straight through the middle, and that's going to be very easy, especially when we have dead teammates like this, because we're going to go straight on in, and they're just going to focus us because it's not too difficult for them to have to turn their heads or anything. Okay, aim could use work. There we go, nice. When you're using your ult on Venture, try not to look at the ground. You will be able to see much better if you aren't looking on the ground. Is this an Asia server? It probably is. I can't confirm that, but it probably is. Yeah, just right-clicking that originally would have probably shot you up just as well, and then you would have had your dig in order to do other things. Okay. I think it looks like you're playing basically the same with all of your abilities. You're, rather than kind of switching up and using your methods of like your abilities differently, it looks like you are using the same method. You are digging, boosting, popping out, and then attacking and meleeing. So I'd like to see if you had a little bit more variability in the way you utilize your abilities. Yeah, I mean, even if you're next to someone like this Widow here, I'm not sure why you didn't use your right click to boop her. You could have shot, and then used your drill charge, and then shot again, and then meleeed, and that probably would have ended up killing the Widow. Here, instead, you just kind of like shoot and then melee, which doesn't really provide any kind of huge burst to finishing. And then because it didn't work originally, you kind of had to flee. But if you just use your abilities a little bit more, a little bit better in a more combo-y way, I think it could have all worked out for you. You just don't really have the sequence of the combo to combo and to burst people down. Like that probably should have been what originally happened on the Widow. Yo, what's up, Beast? Here we are. I mean, the ult seems pretty good. I like that we're using the ult very fast and readily. The only thing I would wish is when we use the ult, we aren't looking so much at the ground. I feel like it kind of deters our line of sight. Oh wow, we're really going for it. Okay. Good win on attack. Yeah, it just seems like combos, mechanics, combos, and mechanics are the big thing. I'd say the other big thing is probably just grouping up with your team. After we got the point, it seems like we did better at playing attack. You have to be cautious on when you decide to use all of your abilities to all in, because as you can see, if you use all of your abilities to all in, you won't have anything to get you out, and so you'll be easy pickings and die easily. So you really have to think about when you want to all in, but most of the time, if you're playing someone like Venture, you're going to use one ability to get in. You're going to use one ability to get out. Unless you know that your ability can reset to get you out. Sometimes you can dash in because it will reset your dash on a 4-second cooldown. And if you are able to stay alive long enough, you'll be able to use your drill to dash out. Nice. Okay, I mean, the teabag was a little unnecessary. There really was no outplay there. Here we are all inning again. Surprisingly, it works out in our favor. Here's another all-in. Now, if you've noticed, you kind of used all of your abilities to be aggressive just to get you to the Widow. And if she was a better Widow player, she probably would have either rotated out and then headshot you, or she would have just rotated out and you wouldn't have been able to do anything because you had no abilities. Here's another all-in. And as you can see, because we all-in without an escape route, we just blew up immediately. Another all-in. Now, you might have a dash to get out, which we do. Nice. If Winston's sleeping, and he's primal, probably just let him sleep. Another all-in. No ability to get out. Yeah, really just don't use all your abilities and dump them on someone, because chances are it's going to leave you in a really bad position, and that's going to cause you to get killed. Now we're playing Hanzo. Okay. Another thing I'm seeing is, like, we're not using high ground on Hanzo. He does have a wall climb, so we totally could. And then Bastion to recontest. Unlucky. Yeah, I mean, this is literally just a choke, and you kind of are just like, you don't have a tank to push through the choke for you, but I would, if I were you, I'd just try to find alternate flank routes to get you to the back line, especially if you're playing a flank hero. That's going to make heads turn onto you for attention, in which case you'll stay alive, alleviate pressure from the choke, and your teammates can push through. So we play Bastion.
Attackers in. Defend objective
And then, yeah, here we just don't have a tank, so it's GG's. But yeah, I mean, basically, big thing I would say is just try not to use all your abilities on one dude. You need to cycle those things a little bit more. Really think about why you're going to be using the abilities that you're using. Try to understand the adventure combos, because obviously he has a slow rate of fire, so he gets more of his damage burst coming from that right click or drill dash or whatever you want to call it. So it's usually shoot, and then the drill dash will be done between shots, and then you'll be able to shoot again, and then melee for the quick burst to finish them off. But and then you'll drill, you'll submerge to get yourself out, because you're invincible while you're, you know, submerged. But obviously combos change, and the abilities you're going to use into people and certain duels will change. So just keep that in mind. Try to use a lot more of the flanks, though, as opposed to just running it straight down. Because if you're doing that on attack, trying to run through a choke, you're probably going to blow up a lot. And then, yeah, just really try to take advantage of the whole fact that you're really strong at short bursts. So don't try to fight anyone that's really good at range, because they'll be able to pop your head off really far away. Sup, where is Dihan? Hello? Alright, Stinkweed, hello, I'm back. I play Kiriko now, on top of Juno. Played Kiri here and we lost. I think we did a good job. Had 10k more heals than all the other support. Not that stats are everything. And the enemy ball said, I fucking hate you, Kiri, which I think is a good sign. Been hovering on Diamond 3, Diamond 4 range while flexing. No longer a Juno, one trick. Thanks. Alright, Stinkweed. Let's give it a look and see what all needs help. What we can do, what we can work on. Oh, you're the one with the chair. Yes. Oh, can I not be seen? Is this better, chat? Can I be seen now? Hang on, this might help. Yeah, very better? Oh, good. Alright, I'm pretty sure we're looking at composure here.
Ready for battle. 5, 4,
Yeah, sometimes I forget to turn on the light.
1. Attackers incoming. Escort the They're attacking me. Soothing your wounds. Right over.
Okay, so this is a perfect example of something that we could have done to just better ourselves. This is like Masters or GM thinking. But when Ball is not in Fireball mode, right now he's in Fireball mode since he's glowing yellow. You know, he's able to boop and roll through people. If he's not in this mode, it means he can be body blocked. So while he was on his way out here, which we'll see here, while he is trying to escape here, and he goes into ball form like this, you could have moved a little bit over to the left side and stood like right here. And if you stood right here as he's trying to move through, he actually wouldn't be able to, because you'd body block him. You'd stop him. And then while he's trying to figure out and realize he's body blocked, it's already too late. You have already killed him in that process. So this is something that you can definitely do and to utilize. It really works if you're like trying to chase a Mercy down and Mercy flies off into a doorway. You can stand in the middle of the doorway and shoot her, and if she Guardian Angel, she's only going to Guardian Angel right into you, and she really can't get past you with the Guardian Angel. So body blocking is something that's really good against opponents that aren't really a threat to you, or if they're like a tank like a Ball that's really low and you basically don't want them to make themselves get out of anywhere. You can stand inside a doorway or a hallway and you can stop them from moving the direction they want to, and that usually causes them to also stand still, so it's really easy to shoot. So you probably could have killed the Ball here had you body blocked him a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we do, so he does get out. At least I think he gets out. Yeah. Unlucky, we group up, all good. At least we got a good push there. I think the body block is probably the big thing we could have done on attack 1. Everything else seems pretty good so far.
What's up?
Once a slam occurs from ball, we probably could have thrown our Suzu just so that no one got followed up on. A shame that that happened to Soldier, but something to keep in mind on.
Gentle rain. Took out that turret. Yeah.
Okay.
My ultimate is ready. Join me.
A lot of it seems to be a little bit of bad positioning too. You keep on rounding this corner, and maybe you're going for attacks. You'd be probably just as successful if you climbed up here and made a couple shots before dropping yourself back down. This is a little less predictable than coming out and peeking around here. Yeah. Also had Kitsune Rush, probably could have used it in that fight, but it looks like our team's going for with the 5 ult shove, so everyone's gonna go to show up to final fight, and everyone's just gonna pop ult and
Stuck. Get it moving.
shove it in for a first point cap.
Watashi ga mamoru. My ultimate is ready. Join me. Enemy turret ahead. Let the Kitsune guide you.
A lot of this seems like a rush too. You're like trying to make something happen, so it looks like you're trying to force something, and that's causing you to like frontline, and frontlining like this just really puts a lot of damage on you and can cause you to get picked easily. So I'd just be cautious about trying to force pushes when you have a tank that's going to be doing the pushing for you.
Draw strength from nature. Check out the enemy's turret.
Nice.
They're attacking me. Gentle rain. My ultimate is almost ready. Let the keep. Restoring balance.
Okay, so here we wasted a Suzu at some point, and that's why we ended up dying. Okay, so you got low because you were getting pressured by the ball, and so you decided to Suzu yourself rather than using a Swift Step, which could have probably gotten you closer to, you know, your Xion, and then you could have grabbed a Mega potentially. So, because you have your Swift Step so quickly, you only have it on, I believe, a 6-second cooldown. It might be an 8 now. Yeah, 7-second cooldown. You really want to be trying to use that as much as you can. So even here, when you get shot a little bit, you do have your Swift Step in 1 second. So rather than Suzuing yourself, you probably should have Swift Stepped so you were out of harm's way again. You also probably died there because you didn't shoot the turret at all, and so the turret did a little bit of damage to you as well as your Sigma went underneath the garage.
That won't shake my faith. I'm with you.
Yeah, same deal. Here again, you're deciding to shoot Suzu yourself first. When you know you're in a dangerous area like this, you really should just turn over to a teammate and teleport to them immediately so that you're not wasting your protection Suzu. You're kind of doing your abilities backwards where you're Suzuing and then teleporting. But if you're ever catch yourself in a instance where you teleport and there's danger here, now you don't have Suzu and they know you you know, have used your teleport, so they're able to focus you. So it's better to hold on to your Suzu because you have that's on a longer cooldown than your Swift Step is. Nice.
Payload's heading out. Check out the enemy's turret. My ultimate is charging.
Okay. Here you probably could have body blocked if you needed to, but honestly, with 4 people on cart, I probably would have just stood back here and tried to apply pressure from being back here. Looks like your team got it. Cool, cool. I like that we're pressuring the Ana back there. This is good. Very nice. Good pick. Good pick. Nice. Good cleanse. And probably beat up the on-run. You guys are still up on this fight. Oh, wait. Just kidding. You lost your Sigma. Oh? Something else I'm not seeing is using wall climb to juke people. I know a lot of Genjis and Hanzos will do that. It's something that you certainly could implement in your kit. Also really good if you don't have your Swift Step with you. Yeah, I mean, here you had Swift Step too, you just didn't use it on anyone. That could have gotten you closer too. Only this man's alive? I know, Agent Rask. I was on a vacation actually last week. And so now we're catching up with the last week's VOD reviews as well as this week's VOD reviews. So it was a good vacation. Happy to be back. Nice, good aim. Unfortunate that your BAP used immortality as well, but that's okay. I don't think they're gonna get any picks. Hopefully. Okay, this is an instance where you probably don't need to use your Suzu. Even though this Sigma here is purple, he's in a safe spot. He has all of his abilities. There's nothing that's really pressuring him to kill him. So here would be a chance where you actually hold on to your protection, because he really doesn't need it. Someone else, you know, is going to be... the ball did do something spicy that was interesting. But you really don't need to give this a Suzu. You can save it for saving someone else, especially from the ball.
Feel better?
Yeah, like you could have used it there to save your bat. He doesn't need it. You didn't have it, but yeah, he doesn't need it once you get it. Little bit of hesitation, but also your positioning for that specific fight kind of sucked. So your Sigma here is putting up a... yeah, it looks like he puts up a shield here. So because the shield is here, rather than you ducking out this way, you probably could have actually used the shield to your advantage to cross this gap. So you're able to be here for more poking, some payload cover, as well as provide a Suzu around this corner if you need to. Instead, you kind of duck over here, but being over here would have provided you a little bit more help to the Sierra. Other thing you could have done is just Swift Step over to her instead of Swift Stepping to her late and then having to walk yourself back here.
Protecting. Check out the enemy's turret. Let the Kitsune guide you.
Good Kitsune.
Danger protects you. I'm here. Let me balance you out. Enemy turret ahead. Feels good, huh? Quake on the way.
This rank is around Diamond, I believe. Yeah, Diamond 4 is the rank.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another, again, Suzu that's not needed. It'd probably be much better if you used it to help your teammates here. You're probably going to lose your Sierra here, to be honest. Yeah. You're kind of like throwing your Suzus to or stop people from being purple, but sometimes you have to really think, is this person actually in danger, or am I just Suzuing because I see someone that's antied? Sometimes it's better to assess the situation than to just blindly, you know, throw it out there. Alright, cool. We're backing up. We're grouping up. All good. Seems like a lot of this is just mistimed Suzus. You're just using Suzu not to the full, not to its maximum value. I'm also not seeing a whole lot of wall climbing. I would like to see more wall climbing if possible. But I know a lot of people, especially if you're being a Juno main and then going to Kiriko, a lot of people just forget that, you know, Kiri can wall climb. I'd love to see more off angling and not stacking main. Yeah, that's true too. You definitely could, if you wanted to, stand left or right, a lot more often. What you're kind of doing right now, just standing main, just doesn't give you too much aggression, and it's just more of a defensive approach. And because Kiriko has more of a swift step to get herself out in an easy getaway, she's able to be a little bit more aggressive on off-angling because she can get back to her teammates in a blink of an eye. Standing main on most supports is just kind of asking for the enemy to basically make a bunch of plays, and you're hoping that they make a mistake. Rather than if you off-angle yourself, you're now able to take the fights into your own hands and get yourself picks and be aggressive, and then if it doesn't work out, you can go back to your team for safety. I guess I haven't really seen too much aggressive play, and that's probably why I haven't really brought it up too much. I hope that we don't stand in doorways too much too. Like, if you're gonna just stand in a doorway like this, standing here is gonna make it really easy for the ball to want to get you, because he's just gonna be able to swing through here and be able to hit you every time. If you stand something more to the right, if he's coming through here, he's gonna actually have to hit here, but stop all momentum once he gets there. So try to, if you know you're up against a ball, try to stand less in the open hallways of, you know, the corridors, and more against the walls, so it's very tough for him to roll and then keep rolling through you and things like that. Because I think he's getting a lot of easy hits because you're standing in open areas, which makes it easy for him to do that. Versus if you're standing over here, he wouldn't even be able to hit you. But you're basically playing into a lot of his strength because of just where you're standing in these hallways.
Come here. I can heal you.
Yeah, unfortunately your soldier just way out of position there. This is, again, more mainline fighting. It'd be probably better if you got yourself maybe over on this side for some poke, or even if you were doing, again, what we kind of were seeing you do earlier in this fight when you were helping Soldier, but being able to come over here, pressure the Ana, and then if you need to get back to your team, you're a swift step away from them. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when transit's happening, we don't have to be healing. We can literally just go full attack mode because there's really no one that needs healing when Zen's using his Transcendence. Could get more aggressive with an off angle here rather than where we're positioned. We may be playing more main because we're using the hitting with the kunai sends to a Fuda to people. I think also something else I'm noticing is you're using your kunai, but you're using it reactively. It's not really a defensive ultimate. It is used a lot more in aggression. So rather than what you're doing here, where you're kind of using it in reaction to a ball rolling in, I would rather, you know, you being playing in a more aggressive position, and then once you see the enemy push through the choke, you use it before using it reactively, because reactively, all it's going to do, he's going to drop this minefield, you're going to pop it, but the minefield's already going to be on top of it, and then everyone's going to not stand in your Kitsune rush, so you're not really going to get anything with it. It would be better off if you know, were standing here, Ball popped his ultimate, and then you, as everyone else pushes in, now we're able to push, now we're able to get these picks here because we have a Kitsune rush with us. Rather than you using it more so in a defensive way to get your team to rotate out. If you're going to do it this way, you might as well just play Juno, because Juno is going to be better at rotating your team out than Akiri would be. So things I'm noticing, try to use your Kitsune rush more aggressively. Try to use your Suzu as a last resort, especially if you have Swift Step. Don't use it so selfishly for yourself, because if you have to use it selfishly for yourself, you probably are in bad positions. Off angles could definitely be beneficial. Just make sure you're always a Swift Step away from getting back to your team. And really assess if you need to use the protection Suzu, because a lot of the time I was seeing people that were purple, but they were purple in safe positions. And you probably could use that Suzu probably for better things, such as ball after he slams someone, so that they're not bursted down immediately, or even protecting people from ultimates and such. If you are able to assess situations where someone's purple but they're safe, you probably can use that Suzu for better things that will help turn fights and provide more value to your team. Hope that helps. And already, wow, look at that. Surprisingly, we only had 4 VODs, so now we're on I Say Why Plat 1. I played Juno, which can be considered my one trick. I played that for a while. Understand Juno needs long drawn out fights to thrive. Does she? Unfortunately, I couldn't see that happening in the game, so I started doing stupid things to try and keep the fights going longer. I eventually realized I needed to deal more damage, as my other support was doing a lot of healing, so I went on Zen, tried to help with my Discord orb to deal extra damage that my team seemingly lacked. This is a very, very, very close loss. I don't know if Juno necessarily needs a long drawn out fight to be good. She is a definitely an enabler, and if you're playing something like King's Row, it's going to be brawly. So I think she would actually taper better to fights that are very short, fast, and quick. But I could be wrong. We'll just have to see.
I have no idea what is going on.
Now, I'm surprised that we do say that your other support was doing a lot of healing, because he is playing a Mizuki, which means he primarily relies on damage, as well as short burst hat heals to get himself any kind of aura healing. So, I would think that he's going to do primarily the damage, but hey, we'll see. We're going to hide behind the statue. This is okay. Alright, so we just decided to dump both of our abilities for what seems to be a very short, simple, quick rotation. And so now we have literally no way to rotate our team out if Reinhardt decides to push in. We have no way to rotate ourselves aggressive to chase. Probably didn't need to use torpedoes to heal your team there. Since they all were basically behind not only a shield, but they were also out of line of sight. So probably could have just healed them up normally. Do not ever use your portal just to speed boost you. This portal is for your teammates. The dash, the individual dash, is going to be for rotating yourself out of places. Because, yeah, because the portal is literally for the teammates. Anyone can get speed boosted through the portal, and only you can get speed boosted when you use your hover dash or your hover glide. Yeah, probably a reason we lost this was because we used our glide for ourselves. Just to, you know, have an eye on this. We definitely could have provided a speed boost to get our team away from the Reinhardt, but unfortunately, we just didn't have it at the time, so they did the thing. What's the tattoo? It is a dragon, Ryan. Though it's, I thought it was pretty.
Dragging these nuts across your face.
Okay, GG's. Whatever. Okay, so we're getting ourselves out. So when the Kitsune Rush activated, you probably should have provided a portal to
At
your
least
teammates.
I am not 18, bruv.
So they are able to rotate themselves out. of the Kitsune Rush, because that is a lot of cooldowns, that's a lot of fire rate, and that is a very strong ultimate that us as a Juno are able to, you know, provide a kite from. We're able to rotate ourselves out, wait until the cooldown ends, and then we'll push back in. It doesn't look like you kind of cared too much of anything, so your bashing got pinned. And I'm still waiting for some kind of rotation out of anything. But it looks like we just didn't want to use a portal. Okay, so there's the portal. I mean, yeah, that was probably one of the worst ultimates I've seen. Obviously, Juno ult is very good at, you know, understanding where the flow of the fight is going. That flow, because there was a tree up, was going to be going towards your team. So rather than facing the enemy and putting your satellite, you probably should have turned around and pushed it so your team could kite back into it. This was a really delayed portal too. It looks like we're not really understanding the uses of portal. You need to really keep an eye on your teammates and try to see if they're trying to rotate out. And if so, give them a portal then. It doesn't look like we're very big on defensive portals. And because of that, we constantly are finding ourselves using portals late. Ooh, unfortunate. Yeah, just standing in the lava. Yeah, I mean, that was just a big molten core. Hard to do anything, really. Looks like a big thing I'm also seeing is that you are using your portal and like looking at the ground to open it up. The projectile that comes before the portal opens up actually will give people a speed boost, and then walking through the portal will reset it. So a lot of the time you don't have to necessarily put the portal in a strategic area. You just have to shoot the projectile at your teammates, and the portal can open up wherever, and it will still give people a speed boost. That might help you provide more of this to your teammates. And if you don't believe me, you can notice that whenever you are shooting a portal out, you will get speed streaks on your screen from Juno. And that's because the projectile, when Juno uses the portal, has already touched her. And here's just another example of that. So you'll notice you're going to shoot out this portal. Wait for it.
Let's increase our pace.
And as you shoot it out, you already have the speed thing going, because these 3 orbs, these projectiles, are going to give you a speed boost. And we can see that also. Yeah, we can also see the little green feet here, but it's something to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean, you can use petals in order for you to get to enemy backlines and stuff. You don't necessarily have to destroy them, especially if they're going to be for your benefit. Okay, looks like we're rotating out. Gonna go Zen. I mean, Zen's probably gonna be better for this comp anyways, because you have a Life Weaver, you have Zen, you have Domina, and you have Junkrat. That's 4 poke champs. Juno's not really gonna be doing a whole lot in terms of brawling with that team. So if you're trying to look for something that fits the team comp, Zen's definitely going to be better than what Juno would have been. The only benefit for Juno in that team comp is Juno is going to be able to help your team rotate out from their brawl, which is a Torb, a Cassidy, a Reinhardt. You know, very, very bigger on brawl than what your team was. So. Yeah, I mean, here, I don't know why we didn't just go and help the Genji. You're kind of like waiting to see someone pop out or something, but you can clearly see that your Genji is fighting the guy. You can't see the guy, but you can clearly see your Genji is definitely jumping around and doing stuff over there. And so you would have to assume that the guy is probably over here. So charging up and firing here just isn't going to do anything. I would have rather you try to go help out the Genji with the Cassidy. Okay. A lot of wasted ultimates here, I guess. Yeah, so that was probably just a bad position. Sometimes it's okay to play over on this side of the statue, because if you're playing someone like... It's usually better for someone that has an easy getaway. Zen doesn't really have a great rotation option, so if you are playing here and they decide to flank, you're going to be out easy pickings real easy. So that's why I usually, if I was going to play someone that's more pokey, like a Zenyatta, I'd play probably on this side. Ana as well, just so that I'm not having to worry about that. I'd play over here if I was playing someone like either a Mizuki, where I can use my shift and then go fight here and then quickly teleport back, or if I'm using someone like Even a Wuyong, because he's fast enough to get himself back out. Even Kiriko could be over here fighting and then teleport back to hopefully her other support chilling here. But on Zenyatta, it's just really easy. They do have more brawl than kind of what you're playing, so it does kind of force you to use your trans because you were just in such a bad position for yourself. Now, luckily, they don't have anything, so it's okay. We do end up winning the duel. Very nice. Well done. And we're already 25% to charge in our next ult, so that's good.
I am accompanying the payload.
Good ult. Nicely done. Okay, so we do eventually break the tree. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the Zen's definitely working, again, because you had less of a brawl comp, and your team still is very much a poke comp. Yeah, I don't know why it took you guys that long to push the payload, but... Also, as Zenyatta, a big part of you is just going to be sitting on the payload because you have a lot of range and no projectile fall off. Yeah, if someone's in your sight, rather than charging up, it's actually less damage over time than just firing straight shots. So if someone's in your sights, it's probably actually better for you just to shoot normally than it is to do any kind of charge up maneuver. The only reason you do charge up maneuvers is if you don't have a target acquired or if you want to do some sort of high burst damage. But if you're up against someone like Reinhardt that's going to block with his shield the high burst damage, it's better just to do a lot of damage over time to break the shield early so that he hopefully has a broken shield by the time he's still in the window. Not sure why you got so close to the Reinhardt here either. Obviously, being closer to people doesn't necessarily mean you're healing them more. So you probably should have still just sat back here firing what you could. And then hopefully, if you got your ultimate, you would be able to pop that during this fight. But being so close to the Reinhardt caused you to get picked by the adventure there. Yeah, you got one more fight to group up. Nice. If you're going to use your ultimate, just make sure you throw out a Discord orb so at least someone is getting discorded. If you don't throw it out, you can't use it while you're in Transcendence, so you're literally just down a orb that you could have had up on someone to amplify the damage on them. Which could have been the Reinhardt in this case, because if you did that, he would have been down quicker. He would have maybe been down quicker. You may have not gotten fire stroked, or fire striked, however you want to call it. Unfortunately, I don't think anything is going to stop you from the Venture ultimate, but you may have been able to survive at least one of those hits, because again, you wouldn't have gotten hit by the fire strike because the Reinhardt was discorded. Definitely super close. Probably the closest game we've seen tonight. On Juno, I would say a lot of it seems to be just using your portal to rotate your team in and out of situations. It looks like your team kind of just got walked over by a Reinhardt, which if you have a Juno on your team shouldn't really be an issue since she can just speed boost everyone to safety. And then on Zenyatta, a lot of it seemed really good on Zenyatta. I think you had a couple misplays where you played a little bit too close to your tank, and then Venture ended up catching you. And then the other one that seemed to be really big was your use of Discord Orb wasn't thrown out before you actually used your Transcendence, which might have been able to kill the Reinhardt faster if you did that. But that's kind of all I got. And honestly, that's probably it in terms of VOD reviews. So hopefully everyone, all of the VODs reviews have helped tonight. And I will hope to see you guys all in another one. Peace out. Deuces.